Hello and welcome to Physicality Therapies Pilates and our beginner Pilates videos. Today it's going to be a complete beginner class. If you've never done Pilates before, this one is for you. So this is going to be every move. We're going to really break it down. We're going to explain every move in detail, show you how to do it, and you're going to accomplish a full Pilates class. Let's go. Brilliant. So we're going to start off just standing up. Anywhere, either on the floor, on your mat, wherever you want. It's sometimes easier to do these sort of warm-up bits at the front of your mat. I'm going to be on my mat so that you can see me nice and clearly. So from here, we're just going to put both of our feet together, and then we're going to make a gap in between these feet. So easiest way to do this is either to turn your feet out, so turn your toes out, keeping your heels together, and then turn your heels out to match. So then we're in this nice position here with our feet. We're then going to set our pelvis. So in this position to set our pelvis, we're just going to rock forwards and backwards at our pelvis, side to side. Okay, and we're just going to rock forwards and backwards, and then we're going to find that middle position. So we're going to find that position where our pelvis is in neutral. So that middle position there, we're going to stick there. Okay, so our feet are set, our pelvis is set. We're then going to move up into our upper body. So from here we want nice wide smiling collarbones. So if you imagine if they're all crunched up like this, then they're a bit angry. We want them to be nice and wide and smiling. So we want to elongate through our collarbones, keep our chest nice and wide. From our shoulder blades, we want to be tucking them down into our back pockets. We don't want our shoulders up here. Tuck down, nice and wide and open. Then our neck, we want to imagine we've got a helium balloon tied to the top of our head, and that's elongating our neck. So just pulling our neck up, nice and tall. Pulling up through that neck, through down here as well, all through this neck. We're just pulling that up, nice and gently, elongating our whole body. Then from this position, we're going to move into our warm-up. So our warm-up, we're going to start off with what we've put together is a nice little routine that we will be using throughout a lot of these beginner workouts with a lot of these same moves, so that you can get used to them, you can get really confident in doing them, because then the actual body of the class will vary depending on what we're doing, and also vary to give a bit of variation, so we're not doing the same thing. So we're going to start off with our dumb waiter. So our dumb waiter is our palms facing upwards, fingers all nice and together like this, and our thumbs tucked in as well. Our elbows are tucked in to the sides of our body, and we're just going to rotate out and come back in, just as if you are sort of carrying a tray, big tray, and you're just running your fingers over the length of it and bringing them back in. Just the same path all the time. Just again, keeping everything locked nice and strong through our pelvis, through our toes. Mainly with this one, keeping our collarbones tucked, our collarbones smiling, and our shoulder blades tucked down into our back pockets. So we're just looking just to keep this movement nice and fluid at the same time. So we're just looking to rotate out and come back in, keeping our elbows in at our sides. Just nice and gently. So even if we're going at this speed, we can keep it nice and gentle. And just moving in and out. Just nice and gentle on the same paths. In and out. Brilliant. And then from this, we're now going to progress that move ever so slightly, just to make it into a stretch for our shoulders. So we're going to rotate out to the furthest point of our dumb waiter. We're then going to extend our elbows so that our arms then come out. We're then going to tip our arms over, then tip our arms back, palms back up, bring our elbows back in, so we're still at the furthest point of our dumb waiter, and then rotating back round. Okay, so how this looks is we're going to rotate out like this, tip, come back in. Okay, give that a go. So we're looking to rotate out, stretch out, tip over, and then come back in. There's a lot to remember here, but it's a nice stretch of those shoulders. So even if we go back to the dumb waiter, we're rotating out, We're going to stop at this position. We're then going to extend our arms out. So all we're doing here is going from an elbow position like this to an elbow position where they're straight, and then we're tipping these over. So you can imagine you've got little glasses of water super glued to your hands. You're taking them out away from you and then tipping them out into 2 buckets you've got under there. And you can't look all the time, your eyes are remaining forwards. You're just going to get into a nice rhythm with that. So again, we're looking for those shoulders. But at this point, don't worry too much about those shoulders. Worry more about the movement. Just get that movement nailed. So we're going to be rotating out, extending out, flipping over, elbows back in, coming back in. And you can get into a nice fluid motion with this. No time at all. It's a lovely exercise just to get everything warmed up in these shoulders. We're just really going to extend through these shoulders and just get nice and warm. Brilliant. From there, we now need to warm up this lower body because we've neglected this a bit at this point. So we're going to do 2 exercises for this lower body. Our first one is going to be a mini squat. I know what you're thinking. You don't want to be doing any Joe Wicks heroics here. No, really fast squats, as fast as you can go, as low as you can go. What we're looking for is quality over quantity. So we're looking for the quality of that movement, and we're looking to keep it nice and slow, because our time doing that movement is a lot slower, a lot more prolonged. We're going to target a lot of muscles that are going to stabilise that movement at the same time. So in order to do an effective sort of mini squat, what you want to be doing is hinging from your hips. So you want to be pushing your hips back, actually bend your knees and come down, keeping your chest nice and proud. That'll keep your back from arching, it'll keep your back in a nice neutral position at the same time. And then from there, we're just going to hold that position for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then come back up. Stick with me on this one. We're going to do it again. I'm going to do 5 in total of these. So we're going to go down again. So again, just as low as you can go. If that's only to here, if you can only bend your knees a little bit before you really start to feel it, that's completely fine. Let's go as low as we can go, but as strong as we can go. So keep ourselves nice and strong through this core. Now we're at that position. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and come back up. Brilliant. That's 2. Let's go for our third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and come back up. Curse me yet? This is a beginner class. We're gonna boss this and we're gonna go through it. These are some really good fundamental moves that are really gonna get you going. So we've done 4. We've done 3. Sorry. This is our 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and come back up. Let's finish strong with number 5. Let's get into that position, get into a really good position here, and hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Brilliant. Well done. So from there, we're now going to warm up. So we've warmed up our upper body, we've warmed up sort of our hips and our knees. We're now going to warm up our feet and our toes, because these are important for a lot of sort of control and stabilisation. Also, use your ankles and stuff like that a lot when you're running and things like that, walking every day. Let's get these warmed up, ready for some exercise as well. Let's give them some love. So we're going to just simply raise up onto our toes and come back down. Nice and simple. If you're struggling to do the 2 together, let's raise one toe, raise the other one, into a nice sort of staggered walking motion. If you want something in front of you to hold on to, that's completely fine. Let's raise up onto both of our toes and come down. Raise up and come down. Just get used to that movement. Let's get some nice fluidity to that movement. Let's keep it flowing and keep our movements nice and light and seeming effortless. Because let's face it, how many times do you walk in a day? How many steps do you take? Well, this is an integral part of that. So let's keep it nice and flowing. Let's keep everything nice and relaxed in this movement. So we're keeping all the shoulders relaxed in this movement. We're not raising these up as we come up. We're keeping this pelvis in a nice neutral position as we come up. So all that movement is coming from our ankles and our toes. That's the only bit we're moving. Why is this pelvis wobbling around? You need to get control over that. Keep that pelvis in good control as we raise up and come back down. Keep going with that. Raising up and down. Brilliant. And then from there we're going to go raise up now onto our toes, and we're going to hold that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brilliant. And come back down. We're going to do one more of those. Let's raise up onto our toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well done. Let's come back down. One more. Up onto our toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And come back down. Brilliant. Really done well there. That's a hard one to master. In some of our beginners classes we will then start to put those building blocks that we've learned today together. But let's get into our class today. Let's start off with some nice moves, get ourselves moving, get these parts of our body that we've now warmed up, let's get them moving. So we're going to start off with a roll down. So let's come to one end of your mat, and from this position you're going to imagine that your spine is like a string of pearls. So you're going to be rolling one at a time down. So you can just be one, just very nice, slow, fluid movement. So how this is going to look, we're going to start off with our chin and our neck. So we're going to tuck our chin in. We're then going to roll down through each vertebrae and roll back up. We're going to take our time doing this. So I'll show you what this looks like from the front now. Tuck our chin in. We're going to roll down. And we're going to come back up. So if you haven't already, let's join me, let's start this. So end of our mat, get our feet again, get our alignment, get everything sorted. So let's sort that now. So sort your feet out, sort your pelvis out, let's sort everything out. Now let's go. So chin in, roll ourselves down, one pearl at a time, down, fingertips touch the mat and come back up. If you're struggling, if you feel like there's a block there coming from sort of behind your leg, just means your hamstrings are quite tight. It's quite common. All you need to do for that is just keep your knees nice and soft. So remember that sort of squat position we went into that's down here? Well, take about 1/8 of that. So just unlock your knees. So just a little bit of a bend in your knees, keep them nice and spongy, and that will really help as you go down. And come back up. Brilliant. So we're going to roll down and we're going to hold there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and come back up. We're going to roll down again. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and come back up. This time we're going to roll down, we're going to walk out onto the mat. So how this looks, and I'm going to break it down for you, so don't go with me quite yet. We're going to roll down, walk our hands out to this kneeling position, walk our hands out further and come down into a lying position here for our first Pilates, well, our second Pilates exercise after our roll down. So you're all up here in your standing position, so we're going to roll down, get to that hanging position where we held before, and then just slowly walk your hands out, all the time bending your knees so that your knees come down onto the mat. Your toes are then going to tuck out so that your feet are flat, your tops of your feet are flat against the mat. You're then going to walk your hands out further, go down onto your elbows, push your knees back, and we're going to end up in this nice lying position. In this lying position, let's get everything set. So our pelvis in this position is quite difficult to set. If you are struggling a little bit with it, you may need a slight cushion under here just to prop it up a little bit, just to get that position. But you can sort of feel that it's going to want to rock side to side a lot more in this position forwards and backwards isn't so much of an issue. You're going to find sort of that equilibrium quite easily. Tuck that pubic bone under, let's find that equilibrium there. Now in this position, let's get our hands sorted out in front of us to start off with. So our hands are going to go out straight in front of you. So absolutely straight if you can. I can't, I've got a door in the way here, so I'm going to just keep my hands a little, my elbows a little bit bent just for this exercise, but if this was me doing this, I'd have my mat the other way so that I've got plenty of room to reach out, but you guys won't be able to see me. So what we're going to do here in this position is your forehead's just going to rest against the mat, and in this position here we're just going to go into our swimming level 1. So with our arms out straight, you're just going to lift one arm a couple of inches off the mat and back down. Same with your other arm, and you're just going to alternate that. Nice and simple. Keeping that pelvis though nice and tight as we do it, so that we're not getting the rocking side to side that might well happen. If you're getting that rocking, tighten that pelvis. Tighten that. And look at our centering video for extra guides on keeping yourself set in this position. And we're just going to raise up and up. We're going to do 5 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Brilliant, guys. Well done. We're going to stay in exactly the same position, so you don't need to raise yourself up, it's just you guys will be able to hear me a little bit better if I'm up in this position. So from here, we're going to be in the same position, and we're going to move into our swimming level 2. So this is our legs now. So exactly the same as we did with our arms, guys. So you're reaching backwards to almost feel that wall behind you, elongating through that leg and hovering it above the mat, and back down. And the same, you're just going to alternate between those legs. Just nice and slowly. No need for any speed at this point. Just nice and slowly. Just move through those legs, one at a time. Keeping that pelvis set at the same time. Not letting that move too much. We're just going to keep that movement. Keep that movement of those legs. I'm just going to keep elongating through that leg. Keep going, one at a time. Brilliant. Keep going with that. And try and get a little bit of speed now at the end. So we're going to have a little bit of speed for the next few seconds. So let's keep that speed going. Whatever speed you've found that keeps that pelvis from rocking, and elongating through each of those legs, pointing those toes, keep through them. Well done. I'm going to do a couple more seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and stop there. Brilliant. Well done, guys. So from there we're going to go onto our side now, so just rolling onto your side, whichever side you want to start off with. We're going to be doing this exercise on both sides anyway. So you're now going to align yourself to the back of the mat, so heels want to be in line with the back of the mat, your pelvis wants to be in line with the back of your mat, so your bum, and your shoulder wants to be in line, so this back shoulder in line with that mat, so everything's stacked on top of each other in a line across the edge of the back edge of your mat. From this position here, what we're going to do is set our pelvis. So in order to do that, our pelvis is a bit shrunken down. We need to peel that top hip away from the bottom one, creating a little space here. So what you're doing almost is pushing up, pushing this top hip down, pushing it down away, and that will create a little gap here. Imagine a little gap where you could put a little raspberry in there that you don't want to squash. From this position here, you're then just going to rotate this top hip off the bottom hip, so top knee off the bottom knee even, hinging at both the hip and at your feet as well. So we're just hinging at both, and we're just rotating that top one away from that bottom one. You'll start to feel that in these bum muscles here. Just going to keep that going. Keep going there. Brilliant. This is a really good exercise. It's called our clam. It's our level 1 of our clam. So it's a really, really good exercise for getting that hip working, getting our glutes working. So our glutes are these really important muscles that are in sort of our, at the back of our pelvis there. And they are really, really important in our hip. And also when they get really tight can be quite painful and could also cause conditions such as sciatica as well. So really good exercise to get them moving, get them working in a sort of an isolated fashion, because we don't tend to use them a lot, especially if we're sitting for a lot of the day. And then when we do come to use them is when we get a lot of strain on them. So let's do 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Brilliant. Now from that position we're then going to go into our lift and lower. So lift and lower is a really, really good exercise. It's in the same sort of position as a clam, apart from instead of having your legs bent, you're out straight, and instead of lifting from your knee, you just lift your whole leg. But control is key here. So how many of you have just gone and tried to lift your leg in a nice uncontrolled way? Control is the key. So let's get that control. So set that pelvis again, get that raspberry underneath there, draw that top hip away so that we're in a nice position again. And then we're just going to lift and lower. You're going to imagine you're painting a wall and you need to paint the same stripe, exactly the same each time you come down. So you're painting the same stripe up and down. So imagine you're doing like an edge or a corner or something like that with that leg, and you're just controlling it. So if you can only lift to there without losing your control, that's fine. That's exactly what range you work in. That's fine. You never go higher than level with your body anyway. So we're going to do 5 more of these. So 1, 2, come on guys, you've got this in you. 3, 4, and 5. Brilliant. And we're just going to relax down there. Well done. So we're now going to go onto our back. So just rotate onto your back and put your feet flat on the mat and get set in this position. So we're going to get, again, our shoulders and our collarbones are going to be set in this position. We're then going to move down to our pelvis. So we're going to put both of our thumbs in or near your belly button, fingers all pointing down, and that's going to be towards your pubic bone, and then you're going to form a diamond. So if you just have a look there, you've got like a diamond on your tummy. That diamond, you're going to imagine you've got a marble in, and you're going to rotate that marble forwards and backwards towards you, and from side to side. And you're just going to rotate through that range of movement. Let's just take a few seconds to do that. Before then, we're going to find the point where that imaginary marble is going to stop straight, dead centre in the middle of that diamond, because that's that middle position that we're looking for. So once we've got that, we're then going to move down to our feet. So our feet in this position, let's get them together to start off with. And again, we just want them hip width apart. So flare your toes out, flare your heels out to match. Sorted. From this position, we're going to go into our hip twist level 1. So our hip twist level 1 is that we're going to drop this hip out. So this knee is going to rotate out. And rotate is the right word, not drop, because we're not going to just drop it out, because you can see there my pelvis shook all over the place. We're going to look to control that movement through that knee. So you can push through your opposite foot that's nice and stationary. We're starting with whichever foot you want. We're just going to rotate out and come back in. Rotate out and back in. And we're going to do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Brilliant. Then we're going to come back in and we're going to do the same on our other leg. So again, we're looking for that rotation. So push through your supporting leg, keep that pelvis nice and tight as we rotate out and come back in. So that supporting leg shouldn't be moving. You should imagine you've got a drink on that supporting knee here and you don't want to let that go. You don't want to let that go. So whatever your favourite drink is, it's sitting in a glass on top of that knee and you really, really don't want to let that spill. Because that's less drink for you. Let's keep it going. Do 5 more on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Brilliant. So we're going to come back to this middle position here, and from this position we are going to go into our one leg stretch. So this again is a lovely, lovely exercise to really open up these legs, get everything moving, because at the minute we're not doing a lot of moving. If you're anything like me, it's really hard to get up the motivation to do some moving. You switch this on, let's keep you moving. So our one leg stretch is just going to be that our leg, whichever leg you want to pick first, is going to stretch out in front of us. So our heel is going to draw along the mat, and then we're going to finish with our foot pointed, hovering just a little bit above the mat, and then we're going to draw it back in. We're going to do exactly the same again. Foot hovering, draw it back in. So you will hear your heel on the mat, because that's what we want in order to get that movement. So we're going to draw along that mat, point our toe, and come back in. Draw along the mat, point our toe, and come back in. We're going to do about 5 more on this side. So draw, point, and come back in. Draw that heel, point our toe, and come back in. 3, 4. Remember that pelvis. Keep everything tight. Keep pushing through that supported leg. Here's our last one. 5. Brilliant. From here, we're now going to repeat that on the other side. No good getting one moving and not the other. Let's do it. So, again, you're drawing and you're coming back. You may well find that one side is easier than the other. And you may well find, I find sometimes if I've got grippy socks on, it's a good idea just to pop them off for this bit if we're doing one leg stretch, because they can get then caught on the mat. So that is a consideration if you're wearing sort of the Pilates sort of grippy socks, which are really, really good. But again, not too good for this exercise because they end up getting caught as you go forwards and you don't get that sort of fluidity to your movement. So we're going to do 5 more on this side. 1, 2, remember to point the toe at the end, leg hovers off the mat. 3, remember this pelvis, keep that tight. 4, let's make this last one the best one you've done. 5, brilliant. From here, I'm now going to teach you how to go into a position that we use quite often, especially for some of you more higher level moves. You'll often find that these moves are introduced towards the end of a class to challenge you before you go home. So what we're going to be looking to do is go into our tabletop position. So our tabletop position looks like this. We take one leg up, our other leg up, and we end up in this position here with a nice controlled core, controlled legs, and we're nice in this position here. One leg goes down, other leg goes down. So how to get into that position? We're going to start off just by sort of bracing your core ever so slightly. So if you imagine that if initially, whichever cue you're using to draw up, if it's either like a drawing up sensation, if it's like a squeeze, if it's like a small squeeze, a tightening of a belt buckle, whatever cue you use to help with your
sort of pelvic floor activation. And if you don't know what I'm on about, check out our centering video. That'll give you all the sort of cues and stuff like that about controlling this. But basically, you're just going to go one notch tighter. So you're just going to tighten up this tummy a little bit, and then we're going to float one leg up. So our leg that comes up literally from this position is just moving at your hip. So your knee doesn't really move at all. You just keep it, and what you should do, if you're looking directly at your knee, you shouldn't see your foot, because it should be directly in alignment. It should be like a 90 and 90. And then all you do is then get that extra squeeze in your tummy, bring your other one up to match. Okay? And then you've got your tabletop position. And we're just going to hold this 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. One leg goes down, other leg goes down, so nice and controlled. Let's look at that again. So we're going to bring our leg up, bring our second leg up, remember that little tightening. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. One leg goes down, other leg goes down. We're going to do one more of those. One leg up, other leg up. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. One leg goes down, other leg goes down. Brilliant. And from there we are now going to go into a little bit of an abdo prep. So realistically these should be the other way around, so why they're in this order, but we're going to sort of prep these abdominal muscles, but it's quite a good exercise to do to help with the core, help with the stabilisation of your core. So we are going to go up into this position by just gently drawing both of our shoulder blades up off the mat and up. So it's not a sit-up, sit-up's more like this. We're just literally drawing the top half of our body up. We're keeping a gap in between our chin and our chest. And that's, imagine there's like a peach or something nice and soft and juicy in there. You don't want to let go, but at the same time you don't want to squash either. So you're keeping that distance between your chin and your chest to be equal as we just come up just a little bit and come down. We're going to do 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Brilliant. Now what we're going to do is repeat our clams on our other side. So we're going to go into our clams on our other side. So you can either reverse the sides that you are on the mat, or you can just roll over, is the easiest way of doing it. Align yourself again in this position. So let's remember we're aligning all against this mat. So we're aligning all against the line of this mat, the back side of that mat, and we're going to rotate up this top knee. So let's go for it. Let's see if we've got 10 in us. 1, 2, 3, nice and slow. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and one more, 10. Well done. We're now going to go into our lift and lower on this side. So we're in this position here, legs out straight. We're going to do 5 of these on this side. So again, make sure you draw it away. You're keeping that little gap under this, under your tummy for that raspberry there, and you're going to push up and down. We're going to do 5 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well done. So we're now going to go into our cool down now. So our cool down is sort of a time for us to stretch. It's also a time for you to sort of reflect on the class, reflect on what you liked, what you didn't like, and just have a bit of time just to relax, get everything back to normal before you then go out and continue with your day. So we are going to go onto our front for our first stretch. So we're just going to go onto our front position here, and we're going to go into our cobra stretch. So our cobra stretch is just that we're going to put our arms sort of at the side of us here, so sort of level with our head. We're going to come up. We're not going to
really press through our arms. All the movement should be coming from our back. As we stretch our back up, look at the ceiling, get everything nice and stretched. We're going to hold that position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And come back down. So I hope you enjoyed this class today. We go up into a cobra again. And I hope you've found it useful. We talked through every single move, so hopefully you feel really nice and confident when you go into the other classes as well. A lot of the beginning classes will have a lot of instruction as well, so don't feel phased if you don't need to remember it all. It just gives you a good starting block for everything else. Come back down. And then we're going to do one last of these cobra stretches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Brilliant. And then we're going to just go onto our on here. We're going to go into a cross-legged stance. And we're just going to bend forwards from this point. So we're just going to bring our arms up as high as you can. We're going to reach forwards with our arms, bending through our spine, getting a good stretch through our glutes as well that we've worked hard today in those clams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Come back up. We're going to do one more of those to finish. Stretch forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reach forwards a little bit more if you can. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Brilliant. Come back to this position. Stretch nice and upright. And there we go, there's your first beginner class completed. So we've run through a lot of the moves that you use throughout any of these classes really. We do a lot of these moves still in an intermediate class as well, because we're building on these. So Pilates is all about building on these moves that we learn. So a lot of these where we've talked about levels, so like our clam, our level 1, will then be progressed in other classes. So it's a really good starting point. From this class, check out any of our beginner classes. They will give you a really good starting point of going through all these exercises, starting to put them together into different combinations that really sort of challenge your practice, really sort of get you moving, and hopefully we'll see you soon on Physicality Therapies.